You see the graph on your screen right now.
Yeah, I see it.
Praise God. Just a second. Please hold. I'm going to connect the professor on. Just hold for a second.
Okay.
Just 1 second, Miss Q.
Okay.
Okay.
Miss Stewart, are you there?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. All right. So, the picture here is really the summary of the blessing from the Creator. See, one can, I mean, as I mentioned before, I may have mentioned before, is that when you have a problem that was considered to be the most difficult problem, and solution comes around by the power of the Almighty God, there are a lot of things that's expected, doubts from people and everything else. But the one that is the most surprising and approve of is God's origin. Is that it is elegantly infallible. That's extremely important in so many ways. Another dimension of it that is also critical is that somehow such an extraordinarily difficult problem solution can be explained to people who are not PhD mathematicians. So now that is extraordinarily godly. It's a miracle, as a matter of fact. When Andrew Wiles was supposed to have solved Fermat's Lie theorem, he didn't go on the streets of New York trying to convince people that he solved the problem. The basic assumption is none of those will understand anything. And in some cases, it's a downright insult of people's intelligence to say they don't have the brains to understand anything. So when you have a problem that's the most difficult, and God orders the presentation of such a blessing to the masses, that's evidence of godliness. And in that case, there's a message in such a God order for everyone that is participating in it. So that is very important, because especially Black people who are considered to not have any brains in mathematics, to be able to gather Black people and teach them and share with them the most difficult solution to the most difficult problem, is a miracle that only God could provide. So I like us to really pay attention to that. That's part of the. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, that's part of the God order. That's what makes it a God order. As you know, and as I have explained over and over, you are here to learn, but you are also here to be a witness. Witness is necessary. Your witness is necessary in light of what other people, the agenda of the other people, in terms of who set you up to be powerless, especially when it comes down to dynamics with mathematics and anything that requires intelligence, which is why they they emphasize your talents in entertainment and and sports and all that. But God has changed all that. That is totally changed. And that's what is happening. It's happening before your eyes. You're definitely not going to understand. If you understand 1% of what is going on here, you will be considered a genius. Okay, but it's here, you're witnessing it. And I flash on you so many times, you're going to capture the picture here in your mind.
Yeah.
So, and this picture in your mind shows the beauty of God's love for you, as well as the hugeness of God's love for you. Because like I said, yes, because like I said, there's nobody else that could do anything similar in terms of having people who are not supposed to be mathematical in their talents and genius, and who by self-fulfilling dynamics were conned into running away from that subject because they are unaware the vocabulary is a black people's vocabulary. Mama. But that's the power of the evil forces and propaganda. So the other thing is, of course, that it's important, for us to share this within the concept, each one teach many. And the dynamics of sending message to Jim Crow that you have rediscovered yourself in this plot here. You have discovered yourself in so many components of the many presentations that have been given. And you keep on keeping on with it until you rise to the highest level of existence. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. So that is the goal. So like I said before, what you're witnessing here is that God revealed G2j. Now, you see, you're supposed to be living this presentation understanding some aspect of the G2j, which is that it's a logarithmic mapping from U space to 8 space. And that logarithmic mapping ends up providing a mapping on vertical straight lines. The vertical straight lines are extremely critical to Riemann hypothesis, in the sense that the hypothesis says the solutions on vertical, vertical lines in the etas of zero space. But it was guessed to be one particular vertical line. And so it obviously, I was talking about Littlewood. Littlewood was an Hardy. Littlewood believed Riemann hypothesis is wrong, and he was cussing out and said there's no way it can be correct. Maybe about 100 years ago. And then he and Hardy had a lot of collaborations. There was a time when Hardy himself thought he had found the proof, and he was going to get newspapers to back him up and everything else, until either a night before the broadcast and the dynamics, either he or in collaboration with other people discovered his proof was wrong. So he had to back off, call that off. So there's been a lot of people that have been trying to solve this problem. But what God has done is to give the God solution to it. So that's what you see there. It's a map from a U space to 8 space, logarithmically. And so what happens in that case is, as was shown earlier, that's the other part you need to, because the plot we showed you earlier is something that should convince any mathematician that this solution is infallible. Because once the solution has been transformed into a mapping of logarithm from U space to 0 space, out of that automatically comes out the Riemann hypothesis. So that is what you call a Riemann hypothesis, but that's for a finite field. So it's a proof for a finite field. Now, but the x is equal to 1/2 is not, by any stretch of imagination, the only x where there are such zeros. That is one dimension, because with all the computations, very few people were able to really categorically say, no, x is equal to 1/2 is not, by any sense of imagination, the only x. They just say they were off the line solutions. Nobody really paid attention because they couldn't see the geometry. In the form that God transformed the zeta function here, it's very clear that r over 2x to the power x is a parameter in the problem. So r and 2 over x are connected. So when you prescribe x, there are certain parameters of r that will work. Okay, and if you change x, are going to change. So therefore, from this you can outright say, x has to be just 1/2. I mean 1/2. There's no real basis to say that. But then again, I mean, there haven't been any transformation of that I'm aware of zeta function to this form before, as part of the godliness. Because x becomes a parameter. And from my experience, once you prescribe x, you could get any zero. So for any x between 0 and 1, you get these finite field zeros. Okay, and but those are not infinite zeros. The problem calls for infinite zeros that you can only get when x is greater than 1. And the approximate value comes to be 1.252 for x. So Black people must celebrate such a blessing. Do you understand that, Sue?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Yes.
So in the process of the celebration, these are the action items that I told you before, because see, you've been called to global leadership. That's what we're talking about. And by now you should be feeling that already. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that means that if people are the only ones that can really tell the world anything about Riemann hypothesis, because it's the most difficult problem, then you automatically are in the leadership, right?
Yeah.
So you can't run away from that, responsibility, right?
That's right.
Yes. So therefore, you must come and absorb it. You must mobilize our people. You must wake the mothers who have been going through hell, doing miracles, trying to raise children, only to have them murdered, imprisoned, special ed, and all kinds of horrors. A lot of mothers who have a reason to give up, a lot of black mothers. Okay, so that's how God has shown me the miracle through the black mothers. So this now is coming to give you not just a relief, but a lot of joy and celebration. You cannot forgo that. Do you understand? Sister Kitty?
Yeah. I understand.
That's not something you walk away from. That's why I'm sharing this with you. I could have said, first of all, there are no black so-called trained mathematicians that shows up. They're all scared because, as far as they're concerned, anything they would do to make a living, they will do that. So Jim Crow tells them, if you go near Oyibo, you lose your job. So they stay away from Oyibo. Do you understand?
Yeah, I do.
And part of, things that you need to find out is see if you could run into a black mathematician.
Okay.
And invite her to your house to come and watch. You understand?
Okay.
Find as many as you can. Of course, they should be registered, but since they're not encouraged, because Jim Crow, they're scared of Jim Crow, they will give you a standard answer. Gee, I don't have money, I can't register. That's not the real excuse. The real excuse is Jim Crow, they're scared of Jim Crow. Do you understand?
Why would they be scared? I don't understand that.
Well, there used to be a time when it is indicated that wherever there's more than one black man, Jim Crow need to be in their midst.
Wow.
This would be literally a crime for two black people to be together without Jim Crow being around them.
Really? Why?
Well, because Jim Crow is afraid when two black people are together, they will be planning to topple them, to get rid of them.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, that's the basic stuff. So therefore, because when black people are together, they're going to talk. And when they talk because of the intelligence, they're going to come up. Sometimes they fight, but sometimes they can come up with some some significant stuff. So,
okay.
So Jim Crow has been scared. Our people are, of our people getting together.
But Carter was
happening. Yeah, huh?
I said, but Carver was only one man, and he didn't do anything to hurt anybody.
I said, contrary, he had the non-blacks, especially in the South, he had their backs at the wall, on the wall. I mean, he had the choice to allow them starve to death after to him and the rest of black people. But he chose to be godly. So he fed them, you understand, and rescued them from death.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, that's one black soldier that people don't understand him in that light. That's the black power.
Nah, his stuff was low, but my
well.
I think he tried to say, his number was just 3 something. When he tried to eat that candy when I came in for the stuff. And I said no. And then all of a sudden it just, it ain't did that all day. Now he ain't nothing all day. I be feeling like he be sneaking trying to do a shot because he know it. I don't know. We gotta watch.
Yeah.
Because
He did get that bag.
that might.
Hello? Hello, John. Hello? Hello, John.
Miss Q?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
can you hear me?
now.
Okay.
Okay, just a second. Please hold.
Okay.
Yeah, put this up first and then the other one. Seems like it's
Okay, do you see the logarithm graph in front of you?
Yeah, I see it.
okay. Now, so all you need to compare is, in other words, this is the U space, and this is the H sub 0 space. As you can see, that's a sign of mapping. The red sign that says that's what happens. Straight line maps onto circles.
Yes.
Circles map onto straight lines. Or actually, straight line. Now that verifies for you, you know, that the G2j, yeah. Hello?
Go ahead, I hear you.
Okay. John?
Yeah.
Okay, there's some little interruption here. Oh, God. Yeah, you know, but what did you touch? I've been trying to. Okay. Are you there?
Don't try to move the mouse.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So now this what proves, in other words, the G2j, as I've gone over a billion times literally, is a mapping,
Okay.
a logarithmic mapping from U space to eta sub 0 space. And
Okay.
so, and that's what happens when you have that kind of mapping, because it's also represented by is equal to z. Okay, that is also another way of representing the same thing. So because when you take log of both sides of that, you're going to have z equal the log that you're talking about before.